All right. So big thank you to Scott and everyone else who kind of helped me wrap my head a little bit around this invitation tonight. I've called tonight's conversation Observations from the Missional Edge. And that feels almost like a bigger uh, statement than I will be making tonight and stuff. But I do think it is helpful for us to think a little bit around our mission and particularly those on the edges of it. And so we might begin tonight by thinking a little bit around what we mean by mission. Sometimes that's one of those church words that gets bandied around a bit. And what's the uh, in Princess Bride, where he says that word, I do not think it means what you think it means. Sometimes I'm in a bunch of church contexts where I feel like we are operating on different understandings of words like mission. In the denomination that I am from, there's actually been a movement away from the word mission because of a request made from Indigenous partners and stuff. So it is one of those kind of like baggagey type words and stuff. But in my experience, mission has sometimes referred to, might be a do-good committee at your church that's focused on charity work or justice. Sometimes outreach and mission get thought of together. You might think of it in terms of evangelism and kind of that New Testament push to see non-church people come to Christ. I love the work of some missiologists like Daryl Guter and others, and I understand mission to be about participating with God in the healing of the world, that unfolding movement of the kingdom of God as it takes place all around us, which kind of encompasses all sorts of different things, which can mean societal and justice movements, it can mean moral movements, and definitely means spiritual aspects and evangelism and so much more. There's almost like, just coming alongside God in what God is doing in the world, to me speaks of mission. So when we're talking about the missional edge, we are affirming that God is doing stuff in the world and that we are invited into it, to not be too lofty and stuff, but it feels like we are co-creating the New Jerusalem alongside God, all by God's grace, preparing the table for the feast that is to come, if we want to use language of the parable we just heard. We are serving as signposts and foretastes of a future that God has begun and will complete. It is outward focused, all sorts of things that we affirm about mission. It's hopeful and creative and generative and unpredictable and costly and all those things. And it happens, I affirm, in all sorts of places across our presbytery. So I by no means tonight want to say that like what I'm going to talk about is the only place mission is happening. I know that is definitely not true. But in some ways tonight, I'm here because not to focus on the word mission so much as to focus on the word edge. So when talking about missional edges, or thinking a little bit around the periphery of the missional work that our presbytery does. And I think I've been invited to this tonight to talk about this because of the unique perspective I have of serving two missional communities that are located on the edges of our togetherness in the presbytery. Specifically, those are the Ecumenical Campus Ministry at the University of Guelph and with Two Rivers Church. Both ministries are a little bit outside the box. They're a little non-conforming and odd in that they're not your standard traditional Presbyterian congregations. They take a slightly different form. They're not called Knox and they're not called St. Andrews, which maybe in enough is makes you an outlier in Presbyterian circles. But I'm hoping that by the end of our time together, you'll have a bit of an appreciation for what God is speaking to the church through some of those hard to categorize, or as almost called them, misfit ministries like ECM and Two Rivers. So some of you might be familiar with those two ministries. Some of them, some of you might not be. And so I thought I'd begin just by sharing a little bit about each of them. And maybe by way of giving a little bit of update for both of them. The Ecumenical Campus Ministry I've been serving with for 10 years now, which is amazing how quickly a decade can go by. ECM is the home of the Anglican, Presbyterian, and United Church at the UOG. So it is ecumenical in the sense that it is a partnership of those three denominations and has been for a good long time, since 1968. And so the university was in its early days there. But yeah, that has been a partnership that has lasted decades. And the Presbyterian part of ECM is you guys, is the Presbytery of Waterloo-Wellington. So this has been a long-standing relationship. We're a core member of the multi-faith resource team, which means that we're not just a student club. We are part of the administration. We're part of the university, and we report to student affairs through student experience and more. You can find out about us through the website there or through Instagram are probably two really good ways. And I think the one thing I want to particularly highlight today when we're talking about the edges of missional ministry is just how rare campus ministry has become in this day and age, in particularly in mainline Protestant churches. It's not true of other faiths. Other faiths are investing more and seeing growth and seeing the strategic importance of campus ministries. But in mainline Protestant, as we've been experiencing this season of decline, it's becoming a bit of an endangered species. And so I'll just draw your attention. Some of you might already know this, but Presbyterians Sharing, for instance, used to fund campus ministry from the national level and stopped doing so in 2013. And I did a quick little scan this past summer of in 2013, Presbyterians Sharing supported 13 campus chaplaincies across the country, and about a third of those no longer exist. The other, and more than half of them have no Presbyterian connection. All just to say that the edge can be a little bit vulnerable here, particularly in traditions like ours. But we have managed to continue on and draw on various partnerships and stuff. Particularly, we're thankful for when Presbyterians Sharing stepped back its funding. Some of you already know this. The Presbytery of Waterloo-Wellington filled that gap for us at Guelph. And so we are thankful for that. We're looking forward to, the new ways of reporting and getting funding and stuff like that. I think it'll be really exciting and more in line with what the other denominations are doing. So anyway, just to say big thank you. I'm going to show a quick little video here. I could talk a lot about campus ministry, but I'd rather show you invite you to just kind of sit back and enjoy seeing what the campus ministry has been up to. This is the highlights from not this current academic year, but the year previous. At the end of this term, we'll make this year's highlight video, and I'll look forward to sharing that with you. understand the music might not have come through there real clearly and stuff, but it wasn't central to the whole thing. So hopefully you got a little bit of a taste there of what goes on at the campus ministry. Here's just a couple highlights of the various programs and things we offer. What I'll highlight especially is that we have a new radio program called the Gospel Potluck. So if you are on Sundays at 11 a.m., if you want to tune in on your radio dial to our campus community radio station, you'll hear the weekly ECM show highlighting music of faith to our community. So yeah, lots of exciting things. And as I say, I've been doing campus ministry for about 10 years. More recent for me is giving some leadership with Two Rivers Church. So about a year ago, some of you will be aware that ECM entered into a leadership sharing partnership with Two Rivers Church because there was a change in leadership there with Reverend Glenn Soderholm retiring. And the leadership of Two Rivers and the leadership of ECM discerned together and wondered whether those two ministries might be compatible enough to share a leader and what that might mean for both communities. So again, Two Rivers is, some of you will be even more familiar with than I am probably, has a history of being founded here by our presbytery in 2012. It is a church plant, which in itself is a rarity in mainline denominations, and it's an experimental community that has become a home for strays and orphans and exiles, some of those kind of folks who struggle to fit into more conventional church spaces. I've been there a year now, and likewise, I'm going to show you a quick video of the past year at Two Rivers. So you might get a bit of a glimpse of what the last year has been like for that community. And again, probably if the music is a bit choppy coming through, feel free to turn off your sound and stuff too, if that's distracting. But yeah, get a little bit of a glimpse into what the last year has been like for this church plant community that has, celebrated a longer longevity, I guess, than some church plants tend to do. So yeah, here's a little look at Two Rivers.
He's an on-time God. Yes, he is. Oh, on-time God. Yes, he is. Job said, may not come when you want it, but he'll be there right on time. I tell you, he's an on-time God. I believe I'm gonna say that one more time. He's an on-time God. Yes, he is. Oh, on-time God. Yes, he is. Job said, may not come when you want it, but he'll be there right on time. I'll tell you, he's an on-time God. Let's get some witnesses in here tonight. Listen. You can ask the children of Israel, try at the Red Sea, by that mean old Pharaoh and his army. They had water all around them, and Pharaoh on their track. You know what? From out of nowhere, God stepped in, put a highway just like that. Let me tell you, he's an on-time
All right, so you might have caught that the motto of Two Rivers is inviting all to come alive in Christ. I get that vibe of going out into the streets and into the the alleys and stuff and inviting folks to the banquet seems to be kind of central to what Two Rivers is all about. When ECM was looking for a community to partner with, when we knew that we probably couldn't sustain a full-time chaplain for much longer, in terms of sharing leadership, we wanted to find a community that we could partner with that felt compatible. And some of that had to do with location and job descriptions and things like that. But a good bit of that had to do with compatible approaches to ministry, the skill sets required, and what the young people today call vibes, right? Does it seem like a good match? And we think that Two Rivers has been an exceptionally good fit, or at least it has seemed so over the first year of this partnership, in no small part because of a number of commonalities. And I think that these commonalities between ECM and Two Rivers might give us some hints in terms of what it means for the church to be serving at the missional edge. I just want to run through you at least what I discern to be some of the commonalities, the common themes and threads between these two ministries. The first is fairly obvious in that neither of them has a building. And there are some joys to that, and there are some challenges to that. So, some of the joys of not having to look after a building are apparent. They are bottom line driven. It frees up resources and time and energy for other things. We don't have a property committee, which is a real blessing in some ways, and particularly financially. There is a downtown Guelph church, not an Anglican one, but one of those big downtown stone ones, that every year they spend more on insurance than what it would cost to run a full-time chaplain supported campus ministry. So a full ministry is cheaper than what this church pays in insurance for their building, right? So if that puts into perspective what kind of finances and resources we are pouring into our big stone structures, that should be a little bit humbling, I guess. Uh, Also with the pros, we rent space. We rent space from St. Andrew's Guelph. We use their back hall because it is open and we can have it set up in lots of different ways. And we tend to like to do creative things with our worship spaces. So we have rental agreements with them and they are time limited and they keep us flexible. It's great that we know if God called us somewhere else or God was doing something different in us, our commitment is only as long as our rental agreement. It forces us to use other community spaces like homes and cafes and parks and other kind of rental venues that kind of forces us outside of, if we had a building, I think we could get cooped up in it. It forces us to get out into the community and into other spaces. And it frees us up, truthfully, to be guests in other people's spaces rather than always feeling pressure to play host. I share this because, like, for instance, on Christmas Eve, when there's lots of pressure for churches to host everyone and have your services, we were given the freedom to tell our people, go to Knox, go to St. George's, go bless them with your presence. Sometimes we can be a church that sends people to other things that other people are hosting, which is a little bit of a freedom for us, truthfully, and we can bless other communities by our presence. So there's some pros to not having a building. There's obviously some challenges too. There's a lack of feeling rooted. We have to make temporary spaces feel a little bit like our own. I don't know if you caught in the video that we saw there. One of the ways we do that at Two Rivers is we have some what we call happy flags or pennants that we put up to match the liturgical seasons. We take them wherever we go, just so that kind of marks some familiarity with the space. And so there's a bit of a lack of feeling rooted. There's a real lack of visibility. So one of the things that big stone buildings are great for is that it identifies a community with a space. You can say, what church do I go to? I go to the St. Andrews. It's the one with the rooster on top. And people go, oh, I know what that is. We don't have a building with ECM or with Two Rivers, so we have to find other ways to be visible in our community. And one of the ways that we've been challenged to do that is to particularly be visible in digital spaces. So social media is a lot for us now because that's one of the ways that you can get seen in people's digital feeds, right? Storage is always a challenge. We have a little bit of space at St. Andrews, a closet that is filled to the gills, ECM office similarly. And you know that churches just need stuff, right? And so my garage, I think, is half filled with ministry stuff, but that's okay. And we need to set up each week. So one of the things about not having a building and being a renter is that you get real used to setting up chairs. And I feel like if setting up chairs and tables was ever an Olympic event, I'm pretty sure I would medal at it because I've gotten pretty good at doing that dance. Anyway, some pros and cons around not having a building, but really, I think the pros outweigh the cons, particularly for the kind of ministry that both ECM and Two Rivers want to offer. Partly as well, one of the commonalities is the reliance on partnerships. At the U of G, ECM benefits from partnerships with local churches and alumni and donors who support the work financially. Students aren't always your most financially secure folks, so we rely on partners to be able to do what we do. We partner with other campus ministries, particularly the Christian Reformed Chaplaincy on campus and others with the Multi-Faith Resource Team to carry out our programs. We partner with the University of Guelph, which provides us with office space and program space and administrative support and others. And over the past 10 years, U of G has really, I want to say, stepped up to the plate when it comes to supporting the local chaplaincies. They've reworked the memorandum of understanding. When I got there, it was kind of really vague and a little bit wishy-washy and not fully implemented, but they reworked it over many, many years to give us lots of great benefits and privileges and things. They attended to our particular needs during the pandemic, recognizing that faith communities are a little bit different than the juggling club, and were really flexible to us during the pandemic, and particularly around recent world events that are causing strife on our campus. And they're invested in a process right now that may, in the coming years, provide us with a new multi-faith center right in the heart of campus. So we have a great partnership with the U of G and really rely on that. For Two Rivers, likewise, we have an important partnership with St. Andrews that it provides space for us. And again, I was really thankful that when I first arrived, we took time to kind of write down on paper, right? Not a handshake or, innuendo, or we've always done it this way, but to actually put down on paper what that partnership looks like. And so I'm thankful for that. And other partnerships with the Presbytery and Royal City Mission and others. When it comes to partnerships, I think it's important to have clarity regarding expectations, but also flexibility and being able to work well with each other and to see, hopefully, the flourishing of all partners in any kind of arrangement. So that to me speaks a little bit to what it means to be on the missional edge, right? Not self-sustaining, but rather relying on a web of connection, web of partnerships for our flourishing. One of the things I think when you're with partners and you're relying on grace and goodwill to get you through, I think it's easier to respond with grace when there is a clear focus in your community upon spiritual formation. And by that, I mean baseline understanding that we are all works in progress and we're all growing in the ways of Jesus. And that sounds like something that all churches could claim and probably should claim. But I think there's something about ministries that center young people and that lift up lifelong learning, whereby those things ring just a little bit truer. At ECM, we see such changes in our students from the time they arrive on campus until the time they graduate. Some of that is because of developmental stages of young adulthood, but also because of the natural learning environment that is a university campus. And similarly, at Two Rivers, we not only have a lot of young people these days and young families, but we also have a large percentage of people who are somewhere in the deconstructing or reconstructing continuum. There's a sense that your faith is something you're working on, something you're growing in, and we have yet to land with certainty somewhere. When the assumption is that we're all in the process of becoming, that none of us have truly arrived or claim much in the way of being the established authoritative voices in our community, there's a wonderful malleability and grace that weaves its way in. People understand that these are safe communities to ask their questions in, to be curious and to experiment and try things on. And I think that's how we learn and grow. And so that faith formation focus, I think, is key to being on the missional edge. Part of what allows communities on the edge to be incubators of experimentation are the timelines that surround them. And so in some established congregations, maybe you've been in one like this, you might attend for 10 whole years and still be considered the new family at church, right? Or in some parishes, sometimes histories and grudges and assumptions, disagreements between people or other institution, hurts with other courts of the church, those kind of things can linger for generations without anyone really taking time to revisit or reconsider them. You've all heard of that's the way we've always done it, or that's just the way things happen around here, right? Well, at ECM, our entire community turns over every 4 years. Nobody remembers the blunders we made 2 semesters ago, let alone 2 years ago. Whatever dynamics existed last term, whether good or strained or otherwise, those dynamics have an opportunity to be remade next semester, particularly if so-and-so is away on their co-op or that other person graduates or has a class that conflicts with our gatherings. There's always such a turnover, and the memory frame time frame is so short on campus. Similarly, at Two Rivers, our story is still fresh enough that even our more central individuals or our families that have been around the longest have only been around probably 4 or 5 years. Because we serve a lot of young adults, there's this sense that people might only be in Guelph for a season, and that's okay. You are welcome here. You're just as central as anyone else. And so having a short memory can be a real blessing, particularly when it comes to bad sermons or the balls that the minister drops and get forgotten. But there can also be a challenge to establishing a sense of identity and what it is that we value. And so the last thing that I want to lift up in sharing the common themes between ECM and Two Rivers is the value I sense being placed on shared leadership. In one sense, this is not a surprise or unique to these ministries. We are Presbyterians after all, and as Reverend Kathy explained to our students, we affirm that God works through groups and committees and presbyteries like this. That's why we're on this Zoom call, right? Communal leadership is one of the things that sets us apart from our more Episcopal siblings. But I think especially in these two communities, there's a leveling out of leadership that goes out of its way to emphasize communal responsibility, to lift up the things that we share in stewarding our togetherness. And some of this might be due to the bivocational arrangement and sharing of a full-time minister, this new arrangement where they're sharing my time and they only get a half-time minister. They have to pick up the gaps that I know I leave everywhere I go. I know that at ECM, in preparation for this partnership, we poured a lot of time into lifting up student leaders. And so there are student leaders that are given honorariums and have roles within our community and take on certain responsibilities as well. But also at Two Rivers, I have found a real delight in hearing everyone's voice, especially when it comes to learning together. Anyone at Two Rivers can lift up a living room or a learning room opportunity. You don't need to be kind of like one of the core people. Anyone can lift up an opportunity to learn together. We bring in lots of guest speakers and musicians for our liturgies, and the preaching is often discussion-based rather than just a single talking head. So I think there is something to this bit of shared leadership and the sense that we all have an important voice. Maybe you've heard that saying that the smartest person in the room is the room itself. That together we have more collective wisdom than kind of the teaching elder at the front could ever possibly carry on their own. And so I lift that up and I affirm that as maybe something that is common to the two of them. Friends, the missional edge is a dynamic place. It can be a vulnerable and lonely and exciting and maddening place. When I think of a tree, there's great strength and stability at the core, right? In that trunk of the tree that roots it to the ground. And that's a real, real blessing. But when I think of the edges of the tree, when I see it blowing in the wind, I see the edges of that tree, and the edges are blowing, and the branches sometimes break off, and the sun beats down, and it's those outer leaves, those outer bits of the tree that get pooped on by all the birds. And there is something tricky and vulnerable and dynamic about it, but it's in that edgy part too where I think we see a lot of evidence of newest growth. And so that's where the buds come up, that's where the new leaves take form as well. And so I'm thankful for all the missional edges where God meets us, whether it's in your home congregations or if it's at a quirky little ministry like ECM or Two Rivers as well. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve in both of these contexts. And I'm thankful for your time tonight as you contemplate these things and get ready for your meeting today. Maybe I'll close off with just a word of prayer before I hand it back over to our clerks. Okay. Gracious God, we give you thanks for all of the ways you are calling us to this great feast that you are preparing. And whether we are at the core of our tree, whether we are a stable trunk, or whether we're blowing in the wind, maybe holding on for dear life, we pray that you would meet us where we're at and that you would affirm the goodness and the glory of your presence in all places. So God, be with these two ministries, be with all of our ministries of our presbytery, be with the work that is before us tonight, and receive our thanks and our praise for all that you are doing in our lives, all the things you call us to. I pray this all in Jesus' precious and holy name. Thanks be to God. Amen. Okay, and with that, I'll turn it back over to our clerks. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm really, it's so lovely to hear all about all of the mission that's happening right within our bounds that we might not know is going on, all those fresh faces of students and all that great stuff. I really appreciate, though, that you distilled out for us things that might be helpful in our own contexts, things that we can go away and savor and think about for our own churches and ministries. So thank you for sharing all of that. I am thinking that what we can do now, Scott, is take 5 minutes, refresh your coffee or a bathroom break or whatever it is you need, which means we'll return at 8:05 and we'll get into our reports tonight. Are we all agreed this is a good idea? Excellent. See you in 5 minutes, folks. Thank you, Andrew.